Hello everyone, how's it going? My name's Jeff.
My name is Raymond Holt.
And I'm Chuck.
Yeah, our little pet here, Charles. But yeah, today is March 17th.
If only you knew who was actually the pet.
Oh, all right. Anyways, today is March 17th, 2012, and it's our first podcast, guys. I'm pretty excited about this.
I'm excited.
Oh man, this is gonna be like a whole.
I'm not.
Why not?
Well, you're not going to be doing this every weekend
Yeah,
like us.
Raymond and I are gonna be like on top of things. And you're gonna be like, oh, I'm in Lakewood by myself.
Derping
Thank you
around.
for telling them where I live.
Who cares? We're on Facebook.
Your exact address is...
Okay, censor that part of the podcast. But all right. So a couple topics. We have some things to talk about. I'm not sure. We have a couple things. I know Raymond's gonna obsess over one of them, and both of us have been obsessing over this. And a new article that I actually thought of that I found. It's pretty interesting that kind of is appealing to me. Charles doesn't have anything saying this. So
Yeah,
Friday.
Like you, I've got a surprise little bit for the end.
Oh,
okay.
That's great. We have something to look forward to. So it's something to look. It's a reason to listen to the entire podcast if you're not going to watch the random snippets of pictures we have going on.
TJ with his
God,
creeper stare. Oh, sexy,
scary.
and I'll know
The
it.
only thing that could have made that picture better is if he did duckface.
Oh my God!
TJ with
It might as
duck
well
face.
have been.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
All right. So what is
Friday.
it? Friday. Is it this Friday?
It's this
Raymond
Friday.
knows a little bit more about this than I do.
So-
But this Friday, I'll let it. No, you can tell about the next one.
Okay.
This Friday we have the Hunger Games is coming out. The first one of a series of 3.
The trilogy.
The trilogy, obviously. But do you think they're okay? But the first one's coming out on Friday, and we're definitely. Oh, shut up! We're not gonna talk about.
We're not going to go into this right now.
No, save this for a later date at least, or later in the podcast, because I know we're gonna have some.
Maybe. I'll probably go ADD and forget all about it by then. So
Oh,
just
knowing you.
continue.
But yeah, it's gonna be pretty. So we're actually planning on going it to the midnight release, which is gonna be pretty epic. I mean, there's school tomorrow, but who cares? It's one of those days where everyone's like, "Well, I'm just gonna grade stuff."
Yeah, it's the day before spring break. I
Exactly.
mean, we have early dismissal.
Stupid and gay.
Day before spring break. It's not like there's gonna be anything important going on, and
Well,
even
of
if there is, everyone's just gonna blow it off anyway.
But you can imagine with one of the teachers we have, Yurik, he's going to be like, "Oh, well, you see, I didn't actually think of having anything, but then I found this article, so I'm going to read it to you guys for How long are your classes?
46.
No, for shortened day, probably.
Oh,
half
for
an
short
hour.
day. Yeah, 34, I think it is. To
No,
be
whichever.
exact.
Oh,
To
okay.
be exact.
We got a badass
I
here.
think it is, to be exact,
Well, yeah.
the contradictory statements of Raymond Holt.
You know it.
Gotta love them. But so in the Hunger Games, for people who haven't really looked into them, I don't know who of our if you haven't looked at the Hunger Games, the whole basis is there are these. I don't know. I'm not really.
There's
good at
12 districts.
Yeah, let him explain things.
There's 12 districts, and every year there is this thing called the Hunger Games, where they take a child between the ages of 12 and 18, one boy, one girl from each district, and they throw them into an arena. So it's 24 people.
I want to jump in and add that the Hunger Games was actually a way to punish the civilians for rebelling against the Capitol. So
Yeah.
it was a way to show them that the Capitol is still in power, which is obviously the Capitol is the main the basis of the government. There you go.
Yeah, it's the government.
The
But
government
they
itself.
throw them into an arena, and it's a fight to the death, pretty much. And the trilogy is an amazing trilogy. I'm not a huge fan of the last one, and neither is Jeff.
I doubt anyone would be if they've actually read it. I'm sure people will agree with us during the comments.
But we're not going to spoil anything, but if you haven't checked out the Hunger Games, it is definitely worth the read, especially since the movie's coming out and everyone's going to be obsessing over it, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch the movie first, then go decide to read the books,
Yeah,
like what happened
I
with
don't want to be
Twilight.
that fag that just jumps on the bandwagon because everyone else is. So I'm gonna wait until the.
But
fan
Charles, you're
obsession
always
has
that
died
fag.
down. No. Oh fuck.
Speaking of that,
If you want
let's
to get
figure-
into faggotry.
Okay, let's save that for something not on mic. But let's
Okay.
see. About the speaking of
Yeah,
faggotry, listening to your trance music. Where,
Oh, God.
don't even get me started about that.
He calls trance stripper music.
Okay,
So,
here's the story behind this. I walked downstairs and Raymond and Charles are sleeping one night because they stayed
On
up till,
separate couches, just
yeah.
to clarify.
Okay, they weren't groping each other or whatever thing on one bed. But What it is, they were
Kinda like
sleeping
you and
downstairs, and I heard this odd music. I honestly thought obviously I was half asleep, so I didn't really make much sense of it. And Raymond looked up, and he was just like, ugh.
I just woke up when he ran downstairs,
I was
and
just
he
like-
looks right at me and he says,
why are you guys listening to stripper music?
I'm like, this isn't stripper music.
And then Charles has to like go with this huge explanation, 'cause, like obviously when he woke up, because he woke up like 12 minutes later. But describe to us what trance is, Charles. Describe the whole like basis of it, of what you guys were
I know what trance.
doing.
I know what you're getting at. I was going to get into that. Okay, trance is basically just think techno, but think better because the songs don't last 2 minutes; they last 7 or 8 on average.
That's a good thing.
That's an amazing thing.
Yay, we get to listen to for 8 minutes.
I'm sorry you don't like good music, Jeff. It's okay.
Oh
It's okay.
God, punish me.
we're all
But,
entitled to our own opinions now.
Well, Jeff's opinions suck. So.
Okay.
But trance is just something that you can listen to in the background, and it's good when you just do that. But if you sit down and listen to it, you almost always hear something that you never picked up in the same song earlier. So it's always progressively different. And yeah, if you like dubstep, you can thank trance because they sort of led into that.
Alrighty, now that half of our audience is asleep, let's move on to our next subject.
The thing I'm most excited about.
Alright,
okay,
I'll
guys.
let Raymond lead this off.
All right, guys. This fall, I heard the greatest news in the history of my life.
Oh.
This fall,
Wait, drumroll.
they're porting the first 3 Ratchet and Clank games to the PS3. Now, with trophies included as part of a $40 collection. Now, they've done this for many past series. They've done it for Sly, they've done it for Jak and Daxter, they've done it for Metal Gear Solid, they did it for Shadow of the Colossus and Ico. But I was yes, they did.
Oh, I gotta get it.
I was and Insomniac actually was quoted saying that they would never do this. But I think what set them off doing it is the fact that Jak and Daxter came out as a collection, and Naughty Dog has been one of their biggest competitors ever.
Gotta stay competitive.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Even when your
And-
like games are about 10 years old, you still gotta.
And that's why they're doing this.
Duke Nukem.
It's the 10th anniversary.
I haven't played Duke Nukem Forever, but I heard that it sucks.
Oh, I actually have it. It was literally like $4.
I'm borrowing
New.
that later because I want to see how bad it is.
Okay, but no,
Okay, go on.
it's the 10th anniversary of Ratchet and Clank, which is something that I was actually shocked at because I didn't realize that Ratchet and Clank was out for this long because it's my
Did
favorite.
you realize you're that old?
Yeah, it's my favorite game series of all time. And when I found out that they had a 10th anniversary collection coming out, I was tripping balls, really. I was flipping around my house, running around all screaming, being the biggest nerd that I could possibly be.
I concur.
And, yeah, I'm excited for this because I'm a trophy whore, too. So I know I'm going to be getting all 3 of these platinum trophies.
Oh,
and
damn. Have a lot of faith in yourself there, my friend.
I did it with Sly like I said I was going to.
Yeah, very true.
So-
Wait, so you actually platinum all 3 slides?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's go through all the games you have platinumed.
All right, the
Off
first
the top of your head, at least.
The first platinum was Resident Evil 5 that I
Ooh.
got. The second one was Ratchet and Clank: A Future Crack in Time. Then I platinumed SmackDown vs. Raw 2010.
Ooh.
Then
Never.
Assassin's Creed 2, Batman: Arkham Asylum, Call of Duty: Modern Warfare 2.
Okay, I just want to point out that the game's basically impossible. Considering you're like, oh yeah, we have to do all these stealth missions and everything else, and you also have to work with idiots online unless you have Raymond to work with you. But go on, Raymond.
Then I got Sly 1, Sly
At
2,
least it's
Sly
not as bad
3.
as the 360. I just have to point that out. The community on the 360 is horrible at gaming.
I mean, but that's like all of the internet. If you think
Yeah,
about
but
it.
Yeah.
If you compare the community on the 360 to the PS3 community, it is just a huge difference.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to start any fan wars.
No,
between
hell
them,
no, because we
But
don't wanna-
I agree with
Too
you.
bad.
But then I got all 3 Sly collections, the 7, 8, and 9. Then my 10th one was Infamous, and those blast shards, the biggest pain in the ass of my life.
And it's funny because that's actually the next game I'm planning on platinuming. So, yeah, good luck.
And then I got SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, and I was working on Borderlands, but then my data got corrupted, and the only 2 trophies I needed were level 40 and 50, and I still haven't had the heart to go back to it.
It's time to brag about something. I actually platinum Borderlands. I just got to get the DLC trophies for some reason. So, yeah, Ratchet and Clank coming out in, they haven't really given
They
an
just said this
official
fall.
release date. Oh, also, I haven't mentioned it. This was one of the topics I was going to think about. But in the fall, they're coming out with Pokemon Black and White 2.
Oh,
I
right.
saw
Oh,
that.
God.
That,
Don't get
that
me
looks
started.
so bad.
How would you continue that storyline? I mean, I get the fact that N. Oh no, we shouldn't talk about
Let's
it.
not give spoilers.
Let's not give
It's
spoilers.
still a relatively new game. So.
Yeah, it did come out last year. But anyways, let's just say that given the ending of the first Pokemon Black and White, I mean, obviously it has never been done before. Making
Right.
a sequel, making a sequel, like games that made sense. Like you can make a sequel to Ruby or Sapphire. Like obviously they did Emerald, but I was assuming like everyone. I'm sure.
It was like a third game as just make it bigger and better.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what sequels for
like how
Pokemon
they
always
did, Crystal with
like
Gold and Silver.
Crystal, Emerald,
Platinum.
Platinum.
Exactly.
Yellow.
and then-
Yellow was amazing.
We were actually. I'm sure most of the people were going to be like, "Oh, let's name it Pokemon Gray and then have Kyurem." Because
Right. That's
he's
what
one of
everyone was
those minor legendaries, just like how Giratina was.
and Suicune.
Oh God, Suicune.